Today is the last Sunday after Pentecost. In the epistles taken from St. Paul to the Colossians. Brethren, therefore we also, from the day that we heard it, cease not to pray for you, and to beg that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will, and all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that you may walk worthy of God in all things pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might according to the power of His glory, in all patience and long-suffering with joy, giving thanks to God the Father, who hath made us worthy to be partakers of the lot of the saints in light, who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of the Son of His love, in whom we have redemption through His blood, the remission of sins. St. Paul here prays that we may be filled with the knowledge of God's will. It is this knowledge that we may be fruitful in every good work, if we walk as we ought to. Please stand for the Gospel. And the Gospel is taken from St. Matthew. When therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, he that readeth, let him understand. Then they that are in Judea, let them flee to the mountains. And he that is on the housetop, let him not come down to take anything out of his house. And he that is in the field, let him not go back to take his coat. And woe to them that are with child, and that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight be not in the winter, or on the Sabbath. For there shall be then great tribulation, such as not been from the beginning of the world until now, neither shall be. And unless those days have been shortened, no flesh should be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say to you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, do not believe him. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Behold, I have told it to you beforehand. If therefore they shall say to you, Behold, he is in the desert, go ye not out. Behold, he is in the closets, believe it not. For as lightning cometh out of the east, and appeareth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Wheresoever the body shall be, there shall the eagles also be gathered together. And immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be moved. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with much power and majesty. And he shall send his angels with a trumpet and a great voice, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the farthest parts of the heavens to the utmost bounds of them. And from the fig tree learn a parable. When the branch thereof is now tender, and the leaves come forth, you know that summer is nigh. So you also, when you shall see all these things, know ye that it is at the nigh, even at the doors. Amen, I say to you, that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. Heaven and earth shall pass, but my words shall not pass. Please be seated. When therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, he that readeth, let him understand. Commenting on this, St. Jerome says in the Breviary, the abomination of desolation can be taken to mean, as well, every perverted doctrine. That is, heresy. The world is filled today with perverted doctrines, so let us heed Jesus' advice. Let he who reads understand. At all other times we're told to listen to the preaching of the church, but in these days Jesus is telling us to read. Jesus is telling us to study the truths of our faith so that we can have a pure doctrine. In addition to the truths of our faith, we must study the science of the saints so that we can detach ourselves completely from the world and become saints ourselves. For we are all called to become saints. All around us are preaching, eat, drink, and make merry, which is the road to perdition. So let us heed Jesus' advice to read and understand. Now Jesus wants us to read those things that will bring us closer to Him. So let us consider this in a little more depth. There are two areas of reading that are essential. First is the area of the catechism and other things about the truths of our faith. Do you know the faith well enough? I don't. because I am still alive. God has given me breath, the ability to see, and intellect. Therefore, He expects me to continue my study. Our study of the truths of the Holy Catholic faith must continue until the end of time. The second area is how to become a saint. It is not enough to just know the truths of the faith. We must live by them. And there are literally hundreds of books now available that will help us get on the road to heaven. And let us emphasize, as one of the spiritual writers did, the writings of the saints. They have made it to heaven. Therefore, they already know the road to heaven. They have marked it out in their writings. They have told us what we need to do. And let us not dive into the most complicated ones, because that would be out of pride. Let us start with something simple, such as those of the sermons of the Curé of Ars and others of his sermons and catechism that have been written down and preserved for us. And let us meditate on their holy advice and put it into practice. It is not enough to read. It is not enough even to understand if we do not put it into practice. Because the Catholic faith is not a religion, as other religions are, where you go to a church or a temple or mosque or whatever for a little while and do a few little things. No. Catholicism is a way of life. It is a way of living. And today, the only way we can learn it and take it into our hearts well is to read it, study it, meditate upon it, think about it, and then live it. So, let us spend less time in front of the screen and more time with a book in our hands, studying the truths of the Catholic faith and the science of the saints.